everything that is troublesome to the heart become practically completely destroyed. And loving devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of God, who is praised with transcendental sounds, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. So we just have to again and again realize how extremely potent and powerful this Srimad Bhagavatam is. It can restore a dead man to life. So today we're reading this text 41, right?
40?
40?
No, 40 I had used on John Osborne.
41.
41?
41.
I have 40.
There was no classes today, so it's 41.
41. Yeah, please repeat. Yena
Sva
Ami Bhava Raja Sattva Tamomaya Guna Nama Kriya Rupaya Vipayante Yatatam Yena Swadamni Ami Bhava Yena Swadamni Amibhava Rajasattva Tamomaya Guna Nama Kriya Rupair Vibhavyante Yatatam word for word, please repeat. Yena by whom? Narayana Sadamni. Although in his own place, the spiritual world, all these Bhava manifestations, Rajasattva Tamamaya, created by three modes of material nature. Passion, goodness, and ignorance. Guna, qualities. Now, names. Kriya, activities. Rupaya, and with forms. Vayante, are variously manifested. Yatatatam, exactly to the right point. Translation of purport is by Grace A.C. Bhakti Swami Prabhu. The supreme cause of all causes, Narayana, is situated in his own abode in the spiritual world. But nevertheless, he controls the entire cosmic manifestation according to the three modes of material nature: Sattva-gun, Rajagun, and Tamagun. In this way, all the living entities are awarded different qualities, different names, such as Brahma, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, different duties according to the Varnashram institution, and different forms. Thus, Narayana is the cause of the entire cosmic manifestation. Purport. The Vedas inform us, Natasya karyam karanam chavidyate, natat sanas chalpyatikas chadrishyate, parasya shakti vivideva shriyate, svabhaviki jnanavana kriya Sveta Sutra, Upanishad 6.8. Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is almighty and omnipotent. He has multifarious energies, and therefore he is able to remain in his own abode and without endeavor supervise and manipulate the entire cosmic manifestation through the interaction of the three modes of material nature, Sattva-gun, Rajagun, and Tamagun. These interactions create different forms, bodies, activities, and changes, which all occur perfectly. Because the Lord is perfect, everything works as if He were directly supervising and taking part in it. Atheistic men, however, being covered by the three modes of material nature, they cannot see Narayan to be the supreme cause behind all activities. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.13, Tribir Kunamair Bhavair Ebihi Sarvam Idam Jagat Mohitam Navikyanati Mam Ebya Param Avyayam. Deluded by the three modes, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. Because unintelligent agnostics are mohita, illusioned by the three modes of materialism, they cannot understand that Narayan, Krishna, is the supreme cause of all activities. As stated in the Brahma Samhita 5.1, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadira Govinda Sarvakarankaram. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, the supreme controller, he has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. Om Gyanati Mandasya Jnana Salakaya Chakshana Jnana Tasmai Sikha Snigha Chittaspani Tavayam Sarvam Prabhupada Pranam Nami Bhakti Hare Krishna. So, actually, the whole knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita is a practically, totally re-education of especially the conditioned soul and also the modern man. Again and again I realized how the last 100 years, due to the increase of communication facilities, there had been programming the human beings so devastatingly, atheistically, and wrongly in all aspects of life, that it's quite a confused situation today. And the perfect program to, you can first deprogramming and reprogramming. We have to deprogram the wrong concepts and then reprogram the right concepts. And that's a big job. That's an extremely deep subject, and it takes time, and it takes sincerity of dedication and commitment. It's a practical turning around of values and inspirations, ambitions of life upside down, and that's a whole process of transformation, mentality, right? So, for instance, this subject of today, what we are discussing, the Ajamil story and how a person can be judged, that is quite controversial subject today in modern society, right? Nobody likes to discuss too much on who is punishable or not. Just you do what you like and let the economics run, and the rest, structural amount, the rest is not important. But actually, if you want a real prosperous human civilization, much more has to be done. Robert has made a statement that a society, a civilization running based on the motivation of money can never stand for a long time. He said, culture is required. Nowadays, the whole society runs on the motivation. You do something, I give you money for that, and then everybody starts running. That is the main motivation why people go for education, they study things, because I'm going to get a job, how they get a job, I get money, and All the rest is secondary. So that makes a total confusion situation. So, culture is required. And culture starts with principles of Dharma. What is important, what is not important. And one very important subject is very much who can be punished and who can chastise. So I made a list a little bit of very important topics which has to be understood if a human being or a human society wants to make progress. So one of the things is from a discussion of Prabhupada with some officials of society. He said the missing thing in modern education and society that there is no concept of immortality. That's one thing. Something to think about why it is important to have a crystal clear understanding that is the concept of immortality. Another point said, the other missing thing in human society today, there is no idea of the importance of transcendence. That there is a transcendental world. There is a transcendental position beyond what you experience now. So these are the two weaknesses of modern society. There is no concept of immortality and there is no concept of transcendence. Something beyond your present experience. That means animal life. An animal, you cannot start trying to explain him or giving him an impression that there is something beyond his direct experience. And eating something. Or you cannot start talking about, my dear dog, don't worry, if there is some problem, you never die, you are not special. So, is modern society something different today? We know our preachers, you can know when you start touching this subject with people, they see stars. So actually, two-legged animal. It has two legs only, the animal has four legs. But this is same consciousness. It's only stand up and the other walks like this. But this same consciousness. That is very dangerous. So, very important to have these concepts of immortality and transcendence be introduced again to human society today. It's not only just sufficient to distribute books, we have to make programs to keep them after 40 years. We have a program when that's our job to do that, to tax our brains, to make small programs and throw it out in the city that you can come here. We have not just a regular Sunday feast and some classes morning and evening, and nobody knows what will be the subject. Something we will talk about Indian philosophy. That has to be much more detailed, some hot topics, some clear topics, small reflections, that we induce people to spark their interest, and for sure there is a lot of people searching, that they get the interest to open the pages of this book which we distribute, especially the Bhagavad Gita. Right? And then all this new hope will come. And all this new hope. Another topic which is very confusing today, nobody is clear about it, but here they are, Yamadutas are asking to the Vishnus, hey, who are you? You look very beautiful, you are decorated very nice, you look very powerful. It's not that pure souls are weak personalities. Purity and power has no contradiction. If it is real purity. So they were standing and they also have weapons. Vishnudutas, although they come from spiritual world, they have weapons. Because as soon as you enter in the material world, you have to protect Dharma. And there are two ways, by dedication and by army. Sorry. Because otherwise, Prabhupada said the dacoits, the thieves, they immediately take power. very fast. So you need very strong personalities, very strong dedication, very bold setup. Like Amita Prabhu said, we should boldly present Krishna consciousness. And there will be confrontation. This is the progress. If the confrontation comes, Prabhupada said, unless there is opposition, the preaching is never serious. You have to be confident, although the concepts are fully contradictory, we have to be confident. Just present it and see what comes out. But present it very sharply, with all the details. When you present the subject, you make a whole long presentation. And Prabhupada said, any intelligent man will take this serious, this Bhagavad Gita. So here we have a personality, they ask him, who are you, Vishnudas? You are demigods? Or you're Deva or Upadeva? I'm listening because I was so long in India, there's so much the Vedic civilization is still, in the Hinduism you can say it's a lot of them form of the Vedic civilization. It's stunning to see how the Hindus who know all the names of the demigods, they're so extremely confused in thinking that they're all God. There is no such thing like demigods and God. There is just everybody is Adideva. So for me it's stunning that this small discrimination not yet can start. What is the difficulty to separate the Supreme God and a demigod who is not a full power? And then you have the different personalities. So automatically you find out that one supreme source of total power. Right? But here the Yamadutas, South India, our temple president from Rajamundri, Satchigopalan Group, he gives classes to big audience, where doctors are there, lawyers are there, politicians are there, and he talks mainly on Yamaraj. That's how to cool them down and to let them listen. You talk stories on Yamaraj, the superintendent of death. The Hindus are still very aware of this. In the West, we are not afraid anymore about hell. There is no hell. Hell is a joke, it's just a story. Although their life is hell, they don't understand what is hell. Westerners have become so stupid, they cannot think normally anymore. Sorry, it's unstatement. They cannot think properly. But in Hinduism it's still there. So here you have this very clear question, who are them? You are demigods? Are you Upadevas? Sub-demigods? So all these are there. And that means there are higher manners. That's also not clear today. It's just some balls running around in this universe, and then on one ball, because I'm living here, there is life, and for the rest there is no life. That is quite egocentric world vision. It's like a baby. A baby can only understand what he eats, and he cannot relate to the outside world. This is modern science. So low-class intelligence, and the more information from there. But there are higher planets, and there is this middle planet, and there are hellish planets. And there is more material happiness, is 50% happiness, 50% unhappiness, middle planet, that's where we are. And then you have hellish planet, there is only suffering. Then, here, the next point that what makes the difference between a human being and a non-human being, that's a very clear point. A human being is a person who is very sharp understanding what is the Vedas. He takes faith in it, he acts on it, he works with it. This is a human being. What is a non-human being? A non-human being, he doesn't have one idea of the importance of Vedic concepts. Now, Veda is a broad thing. I don't know whether we could say that there is no remnants of Vedas in the West. We don't call it Vedas, but Veda means knowledge. If there is any recognition on the principles of Vedas, then we can it also call it Vedic following. And like now many people are considering that vegetarianism is important, and non-violence in the form of vegetarianism, that's important. So that's a Vedic principle. we could say. So some remnants we can find. Like this we have to always think when we understand, when we talk, we are followers of Vedic civilization. You know, there are so many remnants everywhere in the world to be recognized. Yeah? In the common man. But of course in the establishment, we have seen in the history of Western civilization, there has been an extreme strong conspiracy against the Vedic civilization since a few thousand years. Always try to keep it out. That's another interesting subject. So then, it is coming from Narayan. The Vedas is not manufactured by Narayan. That's an interesting point. That it could be some, okay, it is manufactured, so that is somebody's creation. So it has not any permanent value. Here in the sloka it is said that it is not manufactured by Narayan, it is emanating from the lotus of Narayan. That's a subtle difference. Do you understand the subtle difference? It is not manufactured by Narayan, it is emanating from Narayan's lotus. That means it is always there, even in the spiritual world. It is non-separable from the Lord. Now, if we follow then these Vedas, if we understand how it is connected with the Supreme Lord, who is our life and soul, right? Then we get life again, because Krishna, Narayan is Supreme Life. Right? And if we disconnect, at the degree we disconnect, we die off. Our emotions die off, our intellect dies off, and we're sitting like a zombie. We cannot smile, we cannot talk, we cannot interact, we don't know how to relate to people, we are scared for everything. This is modern society. On this point I want to touch that, the evil of Darwinism, I want to connect that with this. Because Dharma is nothing else than putting Krishna in the total center of human civilization, the loving nature of the Lord, feel His presence. I'm always telling after, you get a little glimpse by living so many years in Tirupati how it must have been the human civilization 5,000 years ago, how dynamic it was, how joyful it was. This is always telling me this point. There were no problems in such a society. When Krishna is clearly presented, or Narayan is clearly presented, the leaders of society always talk about it on TV. Suppose there was TV 5,000 years ago. Then we will have all these programs on other channels. It's all about Narayan and Krishna. So many festivals. You can imagine